Well, I am excited today to be joined by my good friend Brad Johnson, who is the CEO of ProfitCoach and another sponsor for Elevate Sales Kickoff, which is what we're here to talk about today. Brad, how's it going, man? How is it in Wilmington, North Carolina this morning?
Man, it's 74 degrees in the middle of the day. I never thought I'd see the
Mm,
day a few weeks
mm.
ago. We are thriving. We're doing great. Good to be here. Love you, Ben Smith. Let's get it.
I love you too, man. Well, I'm really excited to have Profit Coach on as a sponsor for this event. Partly because having worked there, I know that what you guys do plays a really critical role in the way that business owners should be thinking about growth for their company. And so, kick things off, Brad. I'd love to hear from you. Just kind of give us the 1,000 foot view. What does Profit Coach do if somebody's watching this and they've never heard of it before?
Yeah, great question. So, at a high level, we aim to equip entrepreneurs with financial freedom and entrepreneurial freedom kind of in every respect, time, money, purpose, etc. So, the way that we do that is by helping them get financial clarity, understand how their business is performing, mostly from a financial perspective, but obviously taking a good look at operational issues as well, and then really starting with the question, and this is why I really wanted to be a part of Elevate. What do you want as a business owner? What
Mm,
do you want out of your property management company? The surprising thing to me, after talking to dozens, maybe now hundreds of property management companies over the last couple of years since I got here, and property management company owners, is a lot of people don't have very good clarity on that question. And so they don't really
yeah.
know what they want, what they're looking for. And answering those questions is what leads you to make the sort of operational decisions, like, for example, do I need a business development manager? Do I want a
Yeah.
BDM? Do I want more units at all? And if I do want more units, what kind of units do I want? Do I understand the profit model and how everything fits in? So I'm probably getting ahead of myself from your question, but I've just been
No,
thinking
that's
about
great.
this a lot. And you may look at this partnership and think, well, what does Profit Coach have to do with sales? We don't do business development, we don't do sales. No, we help you answer all the questions ahead of that, above that, that help you determine what you ought to do from, and where based on your based on your goals, what you ought to be looking for in terms of unit count, unit growth, the sort of units you go after, the sort of people you hire. So I think it's a really
Yeah.
natural fit in my mind.
It absolutely is, and I think you touched on a great point, which is I think so many people the driving metric behind their growth goals is always door count, right? Like I need to get to this amount of doors, right?
Mm.
But that doesn't always necessarily mean what you think it's going to mean, right? Adding scale does not inherently make your life better.
Or
There's
even make
there's a lot. Yeah, right. A lot of times it just adds headaches. So I think the point that you raise is really important in terms of having that level of clarity around what are you trying to build, where are you trying to get to. But even from a more tactical level,
Mhm.
you know, as someone thinks about growth and assuming they've made the decision that there is a level of growth that they're trying to get to, they're not happy with where they are today. There's a lot of things that you guys do that maybe you can speak to a little bit behind. All right, I think I want to invest in hiring a
Right.
BDM, or I want to invest in signing up for this new service, right? This marketing plan, right?
Mhm.
Talk to me about how Profit Coach helps entrepreneurs think through those questions from a financial standpoint, I guess.
Yeah, great. So yeah, after you have the big questions answered, what am I building? What's my time horizon? What do I want out of my life? What do I want out of my business? You start to be able to drill in a little bit more to the, okay, well, now that I know this, what can I afford? What sort of ROI
Mm,
do I need to get from the performance of the business development manager? Which sometimes, by the way, talked to somebody just yesterday about this, that doesn't necessarily always mean the ROI required is positive. It might be a
sure.
little bit negative because it's worth it to you, the business owner, to no longer have to be the BDM anymore and to capture that. It might be worth not actually getting a return, a positive return on that investment simply because of what it means to you. So we get into the weeds with you at Profit Coach through our coaching program and in the way that we do our forecasting. So we have a pretty complex forecast model that we're going to take all of those assumptions. What do you want? When do you want it? And then start to ask the questions, what has to be true? What does your pricing structure need to look like? What does your labor need to look like? What sort of, most appropriate to this conversation, what does your unit count need to look like? And before you mentioned this, which is something I think about and talk about a lot, which is this just insatiable desire to grow door count. And it's, in one sense it's not, but in another sense it very much is a vanity metric. It's
Yeah.
not a vanity metric if it's in service of your biggest goal, because surely your biggest goal in life and for your business is not just, I want to get to 1,000 doors. If that's your highest goal, then that's literally just a pride metric.
Right. Yeah.
That I can. Maybe there's a few
Yeah.
people out there that are built that way. Most people are not. It's usually a proxy for something. The proxy that it's something for is almost always time and money. So when we work with our clients, we forecast and strategize and sort of plan all of this out so you can get a good understanding of what do you need, what has to be true in order to those goals that you've set for yourself. Very often unit growth, net unit growth is one of them. But very often, and I would say close to 100% of the time, getting a better handle on churn is also one of them. What's the point of adding 30 units a month and being a killer BDM if you're losing 35? And that's a lot. I've seen more than 35 a month on average being lost. Like, there are just so many things at play. And so we want to come alongside what you're doing at Elevate and be that lens around things. Like, yes, you need to work with and trust and learn from the experts in door growth and business development alongside and underneath the context of having clarity on what do I want and how can I get it.
That's right. Well, and just to kind of double tap on this point, behind what you said, which is a lot of times business owners will make these types of decisions on a gut basis, right? I think it's time for me to do this, or I think it's time for me to spend this, right? And what you guys are doing is moving a step further, which is, hey, let's look at the actual numbers, right? To one, make a good decision, but also have the proper expectations about what a good result
Yeah.
is, right? You could have a BDM that is doing great and bringing in the amount of doors that you ask them to, but it may not be profitable, like you said, and maybe you're okay with that. Hey, we're okay to spend the money because we're making a bet on growth,
Mhm.
but it really helps to have clarity around what you should expect and what in the long run will be a good result.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that's the case. And I think that we in property management, and I assume that this is true in most industries, we have a tendency of just looking at the loudest and most influential voices in our industry, and especially when they kind of coalesce around an idea, which I'm just gonna like pick on this one for a moment, which is I I have a BDM or I have a team of BDMs, then that means, oh, if I want to get to that level, I have to do that too.
right.
That's not necessarily the case. Just because other people are doing it, I hear
Yep.
my mom here being like, if I jumped off a bridge, would you jump? My mom's not even Southern. I don't know why I gave her a Southern accent. I've just lived here a while. Uh,
Sure. Yeah.
But 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 just because they're doing it, and maybe even just because they're good, like maybe all of those voices, they're running great companies, but they're not running your company and they have the same goals as you do. And by the way, they may not have the same gift set as you do. Your highest and best use for your company might actually be you in the sales seat. And for them, that's not true because they're not gifted in the same way that you're gifted. So
Right.
it all comes back to what do you want? What is best for you? And I think the conference is going to be awesome because it's going to really help people understand that there's not a one size fits all way. there are lots of ways to grow doors. There are lots of strategies at plays, and there are a lot of different ways to tackle even the labor side of sales and marketing.
Right. Yeah. No, that's great, and I'm really excited, Brad, that you're going to be there because I just know from your own experience running a successful property management company, taking it to exit, and now your experience working with Profit Coach's clients. There's a lot of insight you're going to be able to glean through conversations with people that are at the event, but also we're going to have you leading a panel around a lot of these
Mhm.
topics specifically for business owners. So last thing I want to hit you with,
Sure.
Brad. This is a new event, right? We've never done it before. Obviously, you and I know each other, and so there's like a level of like, all right, I know Ben well enough. We'll commit to
Yeah.
this. But I'd love to just hear, what are you excited about in particular about Elevate that pushed you over the edge
Yeah.
to wanting to sponsor it?
That's a great question. So yeah, when I make decisions, I almost always think through the people lens first. So you, Kristen, and Candace just live in a category of people that I want to associate with. I want to learn from. I want to be around. We have mutual orbits, and I love that, and I want to
Yeah.
strengthen that. So there's that component. Number two, the format of the conference. It's very unique. It's not, it's a fully integrated format. It's very driven the way that you're going about this versus speakers speakers to audience and vendor hall separation. It's
Mm,
kind of the opposite of that. It's like, nope, we're all doing this together, we're all sitting at the same table together. Like, the vendors that you have coming aren't people who are there to pitch their products, they're people who are there
right.
to like partner in the conversation. That's 100% my goal. Like, I'm really excited about that aspect of things. And then, just to be honest with you, the last one is Nashville, Tennessee. you
Hey.
you
Yeah.
I am constantly amazed at conference organizers dropping the ball on a conference because they pick a stupid place to have a conference. So like, just milk toast places that don't have anything fun going on. I won't name any names, but this
Sure.
is a
Sure. You don't have
great place. It's downtown in Nashville, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be a ton of fun. Oh, and then the other one is time of year. Like,
Yeah.
most people are doing kind of April, May, or September, October. Man, I'm going to be at
Hmm.
5 conferences in the next 7 weeks. It's crazy. But
Yeah.
February, it's systems, and like plus or minus 2 months, not a whole lot going on.
Yep.
So it's the perfect time to get out. You've just had the holidays, like, get out, go to Nashville, enjoy one another's company, learn from each other, and get set for an awesome, awesome
Yeah.
season of property management.
Yep. I think you hit the nail on the head. And you and I have awkwardly stood behind enough trade show
Yeah.
booths in the vendor hall to know that really what makes these events is the conversations that you get to have with people where you're hearing about their business, hearing about their goals, learning where they want to take
Yeah,
things. Like that's really the quality of it. So,
totally.
well, Brad, thank you. Can't thank you enough. The Profit Coach is on board for this event, and we're really excited to have you there. I know the attendees will take a lot away from your experience and expertise. So, we're looking forward to seeing you in Nashville in January.
Yeah, man. Looking forward to it as well. Thanks for having us.